Welcome to the Awkward Side Hug. My name is Brian Andrew. I'm here with Lex and Stephen G.
Stephen G. Stevie G.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. I want to start the show off real quick with just saying that today, as of this recording, is 6 months since Kobe Bryant passed away. So shout out to Kobe Bryant. I miss him. Ever since that happened, 2020 has just gone downhill. So
Yeah. That's a shame, especially, with basketball coming back, he's going to be missed. Another reason why 2020 has not been the best, though. And we talked about this in earlier episodes. We talked about this in basically every episode. But, I think we should focus on it for today because a lot of different things have happened. The elephant in the room, COVID-19, coronavirus. It's hit home closer to some people. This second wave, some people are debating if it is a second wave or not. But what are you guys' thoughts right now?
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, guys, that was our episode for today. Yeah, it's crazy. It's because we had the initial March scare, so which it seems like a lot more people were on board and kind of like, oh man, this is crazy. Things are shutting down. This must be serious, right? Whereas nowadays we have the Florida of California and Orange County ruining everything for California, and kind of starting a trend there, and not listening to science. But I feel like in March it was more of a TV scare, but now it's literally in some of our homes, and I've had so many different family members who've already had it, extended members too. And yeah, it's crazy. It feels like this time around it's reaching a lot closer than just the TV screen, as March was more like that.
Yeah. I was literally sharing a kitchen and bathroom with someone who tested positive. I know Lex is close to people who got it.
Yeah. I've been taking care of someone for the past 2 weeks with it, so that's how close it's gone. Are you wearing your mask inside? Yeah. More so when I deliver food and stuff. I'm like an Uber Eats. I'll be gloved up, maxed up, and only in a very far communal area is where I'll lay it down, and then I duck out to the restroom and just wash up face, hands, everything. Do you spray the little area where you guys are both? Yes. Where you drop off the food? I don't know why I answered that way. Where you drop off the food and he picks up the food, or she picks up the food, you spray that area there down with Lysol? Yes. Yeah. Mainly more so what I do is I just kind of wipe down a lot of different areas per day, especially when I know that that they had to go through certain areas. Then just right off the bat, I kind of wipe everything down. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm definitely smart about it, So I won't say I'm all hazmat suit in my room, but I'm not a Orange County resident about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to freaking I'm not that. Yeah. I've already accidentally sent 2 shots to Brian's way. Moved out of Fullerton, but I didn't realize he stayed in Orange County.
I have a quick question because Steven's a lot closer to this. I'm assuming that by the time Steven's son is going to school, we'll have a vaccine for this. But let's say hypothetically it doesn't. You're the closest to me and Lex of having a kid that's going to school. And the kids are supposedly going to be going back to school. How do you feel about that, Steven? Would you send your son to school?
No, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Actually, in this area where we're at, they're not going to go back to school right away. So luckily, they're still going to stay doing virtual or, what is it, at home schooling. Yeah, online. Online. Unfortunately, though, that does bring a lot of hard situations for some people who don't have computers or don't have internet access.
childcare itself is, sometimes hard to find. So staying at home has its own set of challenges that people will need to figure out. But at this point, I think it's for the better, obviously, at least for a month or so, because you send your kids back to school. I mean, one person has it and then they're going to spread it to everybody. And
Yeah.
although the kids might not be affected by it or maybe asymptomatic, like, it's still spreading and going to more homes than it would have if they just stayed home. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
And when have you ever seen a child cover their mouth when they cough?
yeah, even like a high school kid, like,
Yeah.
like
This is my high school kid named Edgar, like, oh. But no,
I
and
was
yeah,
like-
and not only that, the kids bring it back home. So
Lex is taking
they're-
shots tonight, dude.
My bad. Yeah.
He's taking shots.
I was gonna say too, like, so I work at a school, and a month ago, when they were saying the kids were gonna go back, I got a little nervous for myself. I got a little scared. I was like, that's not a situation I want to just like walk myself into, but I got bills to pay. Wear a mask and hope for the best, I guess. But
was this before your road trip of California, or
this was after
Brian's world tour?
Yeah.
California World Tour?
That's hilarious. No, yeah, I work at a school too, and they're community college. They're going all online for sure. Yeah, as well as so here's the thing, like the community college I work at they're like, oh, absolutely all online for fall. The school I go to, same thing. They've decided almost like it seemed like a year in advance. It felt like even though Corona hasn't been around in a year. Everything was like perfectly fine with the world. Like, yeah, next year we'll just go online. Yeah, they're going online for sure. So it's crazy to be like, oh yeah, but the little ones, yeah, let's have them go back in person. But I also heard like a little rumor that Donald Trump's son Barron, his school has decided it's not safe for their school to go back, so they're not going back yet. But Trump's deciding that it is for the rest of the kids in the country. So
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of moving parts.
The good news is that they don't have to all follow the dictatorship.
Mhm.
They have, each district has its own
True.
say in what they're going to do. And obviously,
Yeah.
The Orange County district might be a little different, but
Well, good thing I don't work in Orange County, right? I just gotta make sure I stay in my room and don't go out.
Yeah, man, that's wild. Do you see any masks in your area, Brian?
Yeah, I would say people are frequently wearing masks.
Nice.
I actually, like, when I've left Orange County into specific areas, like when I've gone to like Bakersfield and even up the coast, like San Luis Obispo, Avila, even like Pismo Beach area.
Solvang.
For your world tour?
A lot of people weren't really wearing masks, and
Yeah, describe your experience going into that Walmart again. You probably already mentioned it before, but it's like AC/DC playing the classics. I want to hear it again.
so we're like, when we would go shopping here in Fullerton, we would be wearing masks and gloves. I don't really wear the gloves as much anymore. I'm getting lazy or whatever.
Yeah.
But I used to wear gloves and masks every time I went out at this time. And then I go to Bakersfield, and we go to the Walmart, and we have our masks, we have our gloves on. We go in, and everybody's looking at us, like we're like, because if you go, like, even in Orange County, which I'm Orange County now, we're getting a lot of slack because we're like the protests in Huntington and all that and stuff like that. But everyone still wear masks because like the stores still require you to wear a mask. But we go to Bakersfield, I guess they didn't have the same requirements, and people are wearing them on their chins. People are not even wearing them, and they're looking at us like we're crazy.
Yeah.
Is it mean to say, like, because I watched a couple YouTube videos of like people trying to give out masks in like Huntington Beach and stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Some people had so hard pushback on it, but would it be like mean or not nice to say like I hope they get it?
No,
like
some people need to be, in a weird way, like this is a bad exchange. Like, humble is the best way to put it.
And then
maybe taught you your lesson, but like.
And then when they get it, you could just tell them, well, the death rate's 6%. So
basically, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This light I got is giving me Forrest Whitaker eye. So,
Probably the best one of the three right now. And Steven and I have the same one.
Yeah.
And for this purpose, it has like 3 different modes, like all types of different things. Brian just got like the little $20 light from a store, and he's just like, "Hey man,
$7.
blowing out them eyes." You feel me?
Yeah.
Beautiful ass eyes.
Room Essentials from Target, $7.
There you go.
I still
I
don't
think
have a mic.
this light's a Room Essentials one actually.
Yeah.
I think, but I love it.
I might do a product review on this.
I think this guy is a room essential.
Hey. You gotta have a Steven in every room.
Yeah.
You drop a dish, what you did wrong. I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
I'm just kidding.
You guys ready for a good segue?
Yeah, I'm ready for a good
let's do it,
segue.
let's do it.
So
If Lex is gonna stop shooting all of us
I know,
down
dude.
right now, dude.
I don't know what it is, man.
Brian, me, Edgar, like, come on.
Dude,
Dude, like,
a hypothetical Cholo.
all of Orange County, like, dude.
I know, man.
Jeez.
I got chill.
Dr. Fauci, the leader, I would say the leader of the COVID movement.
He started it, or what?
Yeah.
He's the guy that ate the bat, or what?
Who did?
He can't throw a baseball. Like, it's as simple
That
as
was
that.
wild.
Like, it's funny because, like, but the thing is, I
I think we all knew that because, like, either you're really smart and very educated and a doctor or something, and you're usually not very athletic, and vice versa.
So, okay, well, let me ask you this. So I consider the worst pitch of all time, worst opening pitch of all time is 50 Cent. Right?
I agree.
Because he's a built, muscular, he looks like he's in shape, and, like, I guess they don't throw a lot of baseballs in New York City or something. I don't know, but, like, I guess if you get shot 9 times, you can't throw a pitch. Like,
yeah. He's the dude that shows up to the basketball court in a wife beater and only shoots threes. Yeah.
Okay, if so, you're starting a company baseball team, and you need somebody to close your game, and the only person's there is 50 Cent or Dr. Fauci. Who do you have close your game?
I'm taking Fauci all day, every day.
You think so?
I think it just slipped out of his hand because he had too much sanitizer on it.
Oh man.
So baseball's back.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the new format? Okay, so if people don't know, there's going to be 60 games instead of 162. 16 teams, that's more than half the league, is going to make the playoffs. And both leagues get a DH. How do you guys feel?
I like it. I like it only because of this, they have to squeeze in a season in such a short amount of time. If it was like a change for a regular season, no, I wouldn't like it. But because of the situation and, to make everything fair for everybody, I think it's going to be pretty cool to see the playoffs, to see the 16 teams go in there. Nobody's getting a pass. You got to earn your way to the end. And I think it'll, when you do end up winning, whoever does win, hopefully the Dodgers win, but whoever wins at the end, like, they can really say, like, yeah, we had to work for it, and we earned it. It wasn't because of COVID or some easy way in. Like, we had to earn that title. Or earn.
I wouldn't. I think I would prefer, like, once everything goes back to normal, hopefully by next season, I would prefer that the DH goes back to normal, just American League. But everything else was already planned before. I mean, outside of the 60-game season, everything else, the other thing was planned before COVID hit, right? Like, they already planned the 16-team playoff, or was that a COVID thing too?
They were considering, I think, doing more teams make the playoffs, but I don't know if they were going to do a full 16.
Like that? Oh, wow.
But
because how many make the playoffs right now? 6?
5 per league.
5.
So
10.
yeah,
5.
10 total.
So,
because do you count the wild card teams too, or no?
Yeah.
Basically, whoever wins out of that wild card game, you consider being in there.
Yeah. So it would be 4 if we don't count the wild card game.
Hmm.
So the thing is, like, I could see why they did 16. I think they were talking about making it 16, but a lot of people were against it or whatever. I don't think it was a final thing, but, like, because what if, for whatever reason, since it's 60 games, and I think the standings will be a little bit closer, like a team like the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, like a team that's supposed to be legitimately good, gets left out because you're only having 5 teams make it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think it's meant to keep the good teams in it for sure.
then they
And
weren't as good as you thought they were.
to keep the good teams in it for sure, and then allow some, like some Cinderella stories or whatever happen at some point. Like.
So is it going to be kind of similar to like NBA format?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be AL 8 and L 8. To be honest, but the DH thing is very interesting because I've heard the DH things for years have been. He's like, like NL teams have actually thought it was unfair when they make it to the World Series that they have, because like when you're an AL team, you sign a player to play DH.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's legitimately part of your lineup. Whereas when you're an NL team, that's basically your 10th guy. That's a guy on the bench who you're just putting in there.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of teams were like, that's not necessarily fair, but then it's also not fair for the AL because then it's like, well, they signed this guy to be a legitimate part of your team, and then now you're saying he can't play because we're not going to do DH in the. So like,
Yeah.
I know how it switches from home to away, but like based on who gets home, gets 4 games based on their style. So I can see where like I wouldn't be surprised in the future if both leagues get DH, especially like after something like this when we're going to probably sign a new CBA next year. Sorry, I just bored the fuck out of Lex.
Oh, that's fire.
But like, all right, you guys want to make some predictions? Let's just predict who do you think's gonna win the NL, who's gonna win the AL, and who's gonna win the World Series. You guys got any hot picks?
I'm gonna go with the.
Are we already doing uninformed topics?
I know, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna go with what the favorites are. I'm gonna go Yankees Dodgers with Dodgers on top.
I had Yankees Dodgers as well with Dodgers on top.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's a little bit of a hometown pick, but
I think
Same.
Houston's gonna get pretty far, and it's gonna piss some people off. I'm gonna say Houston, and I'm going to.
Brian just chose that just to
just to grind some gears.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to poke you guys. And I think it would be. Yeah, let's go. If I put my money on it, though, it would probably be Houston Dodgers,
That'd be
and
wild.
then probably Dodgers.
That'd be wild.
Hey, aren't the Padres undefeated still, or
they lost today.
Yeah, they lost today. Okay.
2. So they're 2-1.
Yeah.
And they might have a chance, man.
I always find
games.
I find it weird. Like, how did you become a Padres fan?
Okay, so I grew up watching the Angels, and then they won the World Series, and I got very bored and realized there wasn't a lot of culture. But I grew up also like because I was an Angels fan, not necessarily liking the Dodgers. So like when I kind of like it's difficult for me to get into a sport and not have like a horse in the race kind of thing. So like I wanted to get back into watching baseball. I enjoy it. So my other option was like I'm not gonna root for the Dodgers and I don't want to root for the Angels. So and the other option was like maybe pick a team from the Bay Area, because it's still California. But I was like, nah, I'd rather root for the Padres. They have a very like similar history like the Clippers. Just always disappointing your fan base, and letting people.
Yeah, I was gonna say because the Clippers are from San Diego, right?
Yeah.
So was it just like a San Diego thing where you?
It was pretty much like I really like San Diego. I've always liked San Diego more than I liked LA a little bit, just in general. And
a lot of people would agree with you.
And it was like so I've been a Padres fan for about 10 years now, and it was pretty much picking the other Southern California team that was left out of the 3.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's how Brian became a Padres fan.
A Padres. Breaking news.
A Padres fan.
Do you think you'll ever see the Padres win a World Series in your lifetime?
Right, like damn.
To be honest, with the format
on a percentage scale, what's the percentage that you'll see?
So would it be like let's just say I live another 40 years, and is there a chance they win 1 in the 40? So it's like 1 in 40.
Yeah, before you die, do they win a World Series? Like if you died of old age and natural causes, do they win a World Series before you die?
if they're gonna win it, it's gonna be this year because of the format. That gives them a chance, right? Like they just have to get in and pull some bullshit. If they don't do it this year, then probably like 0%.
0%. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I would much rather have the Clippers than anything else. So like if I had to sacrifice a team, I guess it would be the Padres or LAFC or something. I can't sacrifice the Rams. They've already won one in my lifetime. So has USC.
So I'm living in a pretty good world right now. The Chiefs finally won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The Boston Celtics won in 2008. I got to see that series. If you don't know, I'm a Celtics fan. The Kings, the Los Angeles Kings, they won a World Series. They won a Stanley Cup. I was in Vegas when they won. I watched the game. I actually experienced my first 2 playoff NHL games. They actually lost that year. It was like maybe 2015. I can't remember. But I got to sit like 3 rows away from the glass. It was an amazing atmosphere, and I can't wait to go back to another NHL game. The only team I haven't seen win yet is the Dodgers win a World Series like in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the last one on the list.
Let me ask
Think
you.
of any other sports.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so
Oh, Mexico winning a World Cup.
Oh yeah, I'd really like to watch the United States win the World Cup too. But the Padres have a better chance of winning the World Series. Let me ask you guys this because the Lakers have won championships in your guys' lifetime, and I would say most Laker fans are Dodger fans. Just being stereotypical. How do you feel though that the Dodgers at least have rings? Although you might not have seen one in your lifetime, they do have rings. Like, is it cool that you're part of a championship culture, or is that not good enough? Like, you really need to see it in your lifetime for it to count for you.
I got to see it in my lifetime for it to count.
Same.
Makes sense.
It's
Yeah,
like it's like
right.
when. So I'll go back to like the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. It's like this this snapshot in time. Like I remember it right now, like what I was doing, where I was at. I mean, I know it's still kind of fresh, but like there's so many emotions, and like it's just a snapshot of my life when they the clock hit 0 and we're champions. We're Super Bowl champions, and I get to throw up the finger to all the Raider fans, because every year this is our year for the Raiders. So we'll see if that's if this is your guys' year. But
This is the year
Steven throwing the shots now.
they
I
go
got to throw
5 and
shots at
11.
the Raider fans. Yeah, so, but it's a different like. I mean, I think Lex can agree. Like if they were to win this year, like it's a snapshot, and it's like I don't know. I don't know. Have any of your teams won championships, Brian?
Well, the Rams won
Clippers,
when
Padres.
when I was 10.
Oh, the Rams, yeah.
USC won, even though one of them got taken away. So yeah, the most important one for me would be the Clippers. But I was just curious because how would you guys feel though if the one Dodgers World Series win was with no fans during this format? Would you guys feel like any differently, or would you feel like you have to win another one on top of this one in the regular format?
No, because I think the playing field has been made very fair.
Yeah, and it counts because I mean it goes like every which way too. So like if the Clippers won in this format, you know what I mean?
Fuck it.
It counts, right? So
No, because I was gonna tell you because there's a lot of people out there who throw these things like asterisks and stuff like that, and I'm like, to me, there wouldn't be an asterisk because it is fair. Everybody's playing, right? Everyone's 100%. Like,
are they stealing signs or?
that's what I was gonna say. It would almost be a refund or like what is it? A rebate of that year, for example. So like I feel like it would be overdue if we won it this year.
Basically, yeah.
okay. Yeah. I was just curious. This is a very good form right here because
I do hope though. I hope the Clippers win in your lifetime, Brian, because I think you'll have that same feeling that I had when the Chiefs finally pulled it off.
I'll admit to you, like with the Rams situation, I was still maybe too young to super appreciate it. I kind of there's a difference between like a child watching your team win and an adult appreciating that your team won. And I can see like maybe those last 2 championships the Lakers won, was maybe even more meaningful than maybe the Kobe Shaq run. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but like when they beat the Celtics and they beat the Magic, Lex,
Well,
were those more important
I
to
didn't
you
like
than
it
the?
when they beat the Celtics. So.
I guess
I
I'm
know,
asking
right?
Lex. Was that
It's
more?
weird. It's crazy. It's crazy because I see what you're saying and I do agree. But for me, I also had like another experience where they both kind of evened out for me, right? As far as the 5 rings that I've sort of witnessed as a fan. I know they had more in like the 90s, I think, right?
The Lakers didn't
But
win in the
they
90s.
didn't. They didn't. Never mind. Yeah. But
Lex wasn't a fan until LeBron came over.
I know, right? No, but dude, yes, no lie. Like one of the things that adds to my experience is that I became a fan on the first year they even won it. So I was actually spoiled with championship wins, right? So the first three-peat, I got to witness every single season and every year, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy! Like it was like me being happy 3 years in a row. I'm like, wow, like I can't believe it! Like we're gonna win again, you know? And then obviously like the Lakers dream team was like a very cruel reality. I was like, oh, that was embarrassing, right? That was very embarrassing because on paper they were supposed to win, or on paper. And so the first 3 were really special to me. I think that kind of spoiled me. So by the time the next 2 rings, the back-to-back rings came, it spoiled me as far as like winning. So I wasn't like like a giddy little kid about it, but it was good to beat the Celtics. So I think the Celtics win was valuable for me, but the three-peat was just as valuable just because it was like the first championship of my favorite team
Was it
in my
because
lifetime.
the Celtics beat the Lakers that first
Yeah,
time?
yeah, it was exactly because of that.
Yeah.
Well, if I mean, I know we should move on, but I was like, to be honest with you, I was a Lakers fan for that first ring that you're talking about, and then all of a sudden, like, I got more into basketball, and
Mhm.
then
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
and then I was like, oh, well, Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, Corey Maggette,
Oh, Baca.
oh no, on me or you guys? Okay,
A little
uh,
bit. It was yeah.
it's that
It was a
hotel
hotel
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Uh, uh,
Welcome to the hotel
this is probably a good
Wi-Fi.
transition, but I was gonna say I got really into the Clippers team, and then that's when I became a Clippers fan officially. It was like I thought they were just cooler than the Lakers at the time, man.
So is your Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it's just like at that when I was a young kid, I started getting more into like the fast paced aspect of the Clippers basketball team. They're an LA team, so I was like, I'm gonna jump ship, and then I've just I guess been a hater since. I don't know.
So
No, it's funny because like, uh, um, I feel like if the Lakers win this year, it would probably mean it would be the most meaningful though, because yeah, like the first 3 were awesome, and I was like, oh, I was happy, but I was a kid, you know what I mean? So the same thing as Brian said about the Rams one. I think if they won this time, it would probably be the most meaningful for me as a fan.
All right.
is that
Yeah.
what Colin Coward said, or?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not
All
reading
right.
it off of, and yeah, but
So moving on. Steven, you want to
So
introduce the
so
next?
so
Yeah.
yeah. So does your significant other is she going to be a Clippers fan now that you guys are going
Uh,
to be spending more time with each other?
she refuses to claim a team, but she will root for the teams that I like to an extent.
I don't know. That might be a deal breaker right there, Brian.
It's all right.
You get-
I've accepted that like if I was ever going to meet someone that I would probably end up meeting a Lakers fan just by the
by fate
odds.
or
Yeah.
the odds. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like if I'm gonna meet someone in Southern California, it would be a Lakers fan, right? So the fact that I met someone who I guess isn't
Yeah.
from Southern California, I kind of lucked out. And I'll take no fandom over I guess a Laker fan, I guess.
I agree. I would take a no fan over a Raider fan. So
That's pretty funny.
So
Same.
I feel you. So that new lamp that we're talking about. I mean, why did you have to get a new lamp? Let everybody know.
so I recently moved into a new place. Technically I live in a hotel. The
Which
first
is crazy because our old apartment was also technically a hotel before. A
yeah.
whole
So
hotel.
this
Is a hotel.
so it still operates
Canelo.
as a hotel. So like if you ever get to see the Wi-Fi go out, it's probably because I'm using hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Uh Yeah, and me and my girlfriend now live in a studio
Why'd you have to
apartment.
whisper that?
I don't know because I didn't get the okay if I could talk about this. So Lex is the last one to move out with a significant other. Hey, when do you think you would do that, Lex?
I mean, me and Brian talked about this in the pre-show. We technically already did in 2015. Brian and I moved out together.
Yeah, because Steven was like, "This is the first one, right?" And I was like, "Well, if you don't count the one ahead of Lex."
Well, no,
Yeah,
I'm talking
Brian and I
about.
actually-
Well, I mean, never mind. I don't.
we can't repeat everything from the pregame right now. No, yeah, right. Yeah, I would be the last one to do so. As Steven said, his was kind of a no-brainer because it's marriage. So Steven's gonna be like, "Oh, I'll just get my own apartment for you."
I didn't have a choice. So.
But no, it's crazy. So what's kind of the question? I mean, like Brian proved that he's willing to. Steven, it was more of like a no-brainer. It's marriage. I think the question was posed in the pregame of like would I or the fourth mic even, right? Like all of our followers on Instagram or
I guess I guess what we're trying to get at is like what
are some challenges that
what are some check marks that I guess you need to accomplish before you could do that, or would you do that? What boxes do you need to check?
Yeah, so boxes needing to be checked, and which kind of leads to like the overall question being like, would you be able to do it, or or what would you need to see in order to do it? Yeah, it's weird because like I think okay, I have to keep going back to the original question of, hey, would you be able to do it, Lex? And like my original point would be like, man, I don't know if I could right off the bat because a lot of the times
are we gonna get you in trouble? Or?
I know, right? Yeah, we're right here. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like because it's not it's not something that I lunge at the idea to right away, right? And of course, every relationship is a case by case basis. So maybe you just meet someone who you click with, or as far as the living together compatibility, maybe that clicks a lot better than prior relationships and stuff like that. But I guess me as a person, I would have to wait because even right now, like I do kind of want to move out either now or one of two things, now or 2 years from now, like at the end of the master's program. But I just kind of still envision that being on my own first before considering like a significant other to move in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think it's a big leap, and like Brian, like obviously you had or you have the opportunity to do that, and obviously like I got married and then I did it. So
like unless like this could be a freezing cold take, so hopefully it's not. But like like I'm moving out with someone who I'm assuming I'm going to marry. so it's a similar thing with Steven, but he did it when he actually was, and it's and the thing is we were already living together technically for a while. It's just we were living under my mom's roof. So once we figured out the finances were good and we felt it was right, we pulled the trigger.
That's good. What has been well, I mean, you guys have only been together in that apartment for what, a week?
Yeah, basically.
And technically not even fully moved in yet, right?
Yeah, we're like 90%. Like...
So we'll give an update in about a month, and we'll see like what are the challenges, because obviously me being the one that has lived with their wife for 2 years and or a little over 2 years, it's been a lot of like it's a big learning curve, especially, and you guys know the way I am. I'm very particular about things. I'm a little OCD, I would say. And so at first, obviously, like it took me some adjusting and it took her some adjusting, but I think now we're like an all-star team, and I mean we just click on the same level, and I'm assuming that's where you and your girlfriend or your hopefully soon to be fiance will eventually get to. I guess my advice to you would be like, just don't sweat it. If she doesn't squeeze the toothpaste out of the the tube the same way that you do, like it's not a big deal. So as you could tell, that was one of my things. So because like my wife has like she's a middle of the tube squeezer, and I'm the one that squeezes it from the back up. Yeah,
I go from the back too.
So when I go when I go into the restroom to brush my teeth, and the tube is like squeezed in the middle, right? Because it keeps its shape.
Yeah.
I don't say anything. I just squeeze it from the back forward and make it all
Yeah.
nice and neat again. So
Yeah. There's definitely compromise. Yeah. As basically kind of like to sum up what you just said, it definitely has to be compromised. And I think Brian and I were actually a good example of like two successsuccessful roommates because we were
did you
able
get
to
it from the
do
back?
Yeah, yeah. Me and Brian also got it from the back. But we took turns. But yeah, I think we were actually a great example of like successful roommates in that a lot of the stuff was just like
The thing is, like Lex is right,
compromise.
because like you have to like find your compromises. The thing about moving in with your significant other is like, I guess you're trying.
He's looking at her like
You're trying to
don't hit me.
You're trying to set the tone for like what what the lifestyle is for the rest of your life, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, well, if we're gonna be okay with this now, we're gonna be okay with this 10 years from now, and it might be just a little thing, but like, you don't want to bring it up 10 years from now, then you're just an asshole who kept it to yourself.
I think one thing too, and this is a little bit different because you're obviously in COVID right now, COVID situation, but like being able to go out with your friends and kind of leaving her by herself at home, you know, like now there's
and vice
that,
versa.
like, yeah, like, you know, now if she wants to go out or you want to go out, like obviously the other person's being left at home, so there's got to be some sort of communication about that. That's
well, to be honest, like before we moved out, one of the things we had to master was the video game timing, and where we stand on like how often I could play, how often is it cool to play, like are we communicating on that level? And because like we play video games a lot, but we also don't play video games that often, to be honest. So like we try to fit it in when we can, and it's just that. So like once we pretty much mastered that, and then once we did that, I was like, all right, we could probably go move out somewhere.
Yeah, I got lucky because my wife, she gets tired by 8:00, so she's asleep by 8:30. And I mean, you guys, you know, we don't jump on until about 9, so
Yeah.
by then I'm good to go.
So we probably only have time for maybe one or two uninformed topics. You guys want to see if we could get into these?
Shoot them. Let's see what we got.
Okay, so apparently so the tweet that I read was Talib Kweli hit Sarah J.
Sarah J. Yeah.
Sarah J.
I don't even know who Sarah J is. I had to Google her.
I saw that name trending actually.
I just saw 3 X's by her name, and so I'm assuming she's not a priest.
A priestess.
So I thought Talib Kweli hit her, and then one of you guys were like, I think he had sex with her. Turns out, I think it was sex. So good.
Oh, nice. Okay.
All
right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I was worried for a second. I was like, man,
I don't know. Like reading the tweets, like they were still confusing. Like some of them
So
made it seem like
confusing.
he hit her, and then other ones made it seem like they clapped. But I don't know. Like I'm.
All right. Well,
yeah, that's a
uninformed topic. You heard it here first. He had sex.
Talib Kweli smash.
Hopefully.
Hopefully
That'd be
what?
way better than hitting someone.
Oh yeah, we don't condone domestic violence, but
not at all.
So he had sex. Hopefully.
oh, that's
'Cause, yeah.
that's the tagline.
Hopefully.
I guess that's it, right? That's probably all we have for.
Now I'm getting Forrest Whitaker. I did.
Yeah. Same.
All right, that was awkward.
Awkward.